Welcome back to the Heart of the Volunteer. I'm your host, Paul Cummings, and today we're going to pivot a little away from the fire department. We're going to stay on the theme of volunteering. And today's conversation is actually really special to me because I've known Harrison Phillips, hard to believe this, since May of 2020. Many of you may know him as a defensive tackle for the Buffalo Bills, Minnesota Vikings, and now the New York Jets, hence the green hue in the background of his video. We've had the chance, though, to connect on several projects over the years, and I've been able to see firsthand the work that he does off the field. I volunteered at his Buffalo camp every year, and I watch the way he shows up, not just as an NFL star, but as someone who genuinely cares and genuinely invests in people. A lot of people know Harrison for what he does on Sundays, but what I've gotten to see is who he is when no one's watching. What I've gotten to know is the man behind the curtain, the husband, now father, brother, business owner, and devoted volunteer. And that's really what this today is about. It's about that volunteer component. Because when you look at Harrison's Playmakers, the camps in Buffalo, camps in Minnesota, Omaha, this isn't just something he puts his name on. He's involved, he's present, he makes decisions, but it's all powered by volunteers. So today, this just isn't about football. Actually, very little of today's conversation is going to be about football. It's about impact, it's about service, about hard work, and about why someone at the highest level still chooses to support the communities that help shape him. So Harrison, it's been a few minutes since you and I have talked. I appreciate you taking the time here today. Thank you for hopping on my new pod, buddy.
Dude, that was heck of an intro. Thanks. It makes me buttered me up.
Follow that.
Yeah, no, that's great. I appreciate you. And yeah, that is crazy. That just goes to show how fast life is going by. It's almost more of a sad thing to know that we've been friends for 6 years already. Because it's just, where does the time go? But yeah, man, it's been good. Off season flew by fast. When you're chasing a young one around, it does. And I just actually got done. I'm still here in the facility. OTAs wrapped up a couple hours ago. But I'm planning my first real Harrison's Playmaker event here in the Jets facility. We did something for the holidays last year, but when I was traded, it wasn't enough to really do it the way I wanted to.
Yep.
So yeah, we're trying to match our Western New York community, our Minnesota community, our Nebraska community, and add another group of playmakers across the country here.
And we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that, Harrison. I think the most unique thing, and maybe people don't even understand, is the fact that, yes, you played for Buffalo years ago, and you still devote your heart and soul to Buffalo. You played for the Vikings for a couple of years, and you still devote your heart and soul to Minnesota. Obviously, we know Omaha, what that means to you. And the fact that you're bringing that to the Jets Foundation and to the New Jersey, New York area, the fact that you don't have to do this and still do. So people see you on Sundays, okay? They see you playing football. They see the tough guy that stops all the runs up the middle. But I've seen you at camp, okay? There's a different side of you at camp. You're walking around, talking to kids, shaking hands, taking selfies, playing football. Where does that come from? Like that willingness to just be present like that?
Yeah, I think I've always just been a people person for sure. And I just remember being a younger kid thinking, if I was ever in this position and I was ever playing in the National Football League, or what impact would it have been to me an NFL football player one day? And now I'm in that role, in the values and morals that were instilled in me early, which I think mainly go through my faith and, my relationship with Jesus, is like to serve. And I have a great opportunity to serve and to create these camps and year-round activities. Obviously, the camps are kind of the highlight, but we did 14 or 15 different events in Western New York last year.
Yeah.
And so I think my drive comes from like a burning overhead feeling of I have to do this. And Paul, I don't feel like I'm doing enough. Every day I feel like, why did I not do something today? Who did I not touch today? How did I not use my platform while I'm here? Because I'm not going to play football forever. And, I hope it's not the case, but I hear from former players, when you stop playing, some of that behind the momentum kind of dries up. And so while the skill is hot, I need to infect as much change and positive in this world as I can. And, you mentioned, obviously we'll touch on it with the volunteers, but that our entire board and our entire organization is volunteer based. I have no one on staff, no one on salary. It's hard to I guess I should have prepared and pulled up every volunteer, because, on my website, we have a place where you can go sign up to be a volunteer. I should have just pulled the names we have on there. But I know for my Omaha camp, minus the football team, because you get a whole high school football team, that's right. 75 kids, but minus the football team, we still had 118 volunteers just for that one camp.
That's insane.
plus a high school football team.
That is awesome. Awesome. So, again, at this point in your career, nobody questioned you at all if you focused entirely on football. Nobody would question that, right? Why don't you? I guess the better question is, why can't you? You just kind of answered some of it, right?
I think maybe my very first year in the league or a little bit in college, I realized when you put your entire identity in one single thing, and not to go down that rabbit hole too much, but like there's some things that are out of your control. You might be the best dentist in the entire world, and they might decide that they can't have you, somebody doesn't like you, so they got to get rid of you at your dentist practice or whatever it is. And if you're an employee, you can always get somebody to get rid of you. And so if my whole identity was I'm a football player and something outside of my control, like a change of scheme, a change of coaches, an injury made me no longer be a football player, well, then who the heck am I? I think for a while, my identity was so much in how successful a football player can be. And here's the news. I'm never going to be the best football player that ever walked this earth. So there's a lot of negative that can come with that, because if you're just constantly reaching to max out your potential as a football player, it can be a sad road.
Yeah.
And so I just try to be, God calls us to do, be all in all the different facets. So like, I want to be the best husband. I want to be the best father. I want to be the best brother. I want to be the best leader. I want to be the best founder of a nonprofit. I want to be the best business owner. I want to be the best version of myself in every one of those fields, and just be, when I meet Jesus one day, I hope that he says, I see a reflection of myself in you.
That's amazing, brother. Absolutely amazing. Well, I know one organization, wherever you decide to live at the end of all of this, that will take you, and that'll be your volunteer fire department at home. You can be the best at that when you're done.
Dude, the home that I just moved into, kind of the dream house, that type of thing. I couldn't throw a football. Josh Allen could throw a football to the volunteer fire station. We are right there.
Right there?
So, all right. I hear the sirens often.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So when you started Harrison's Playmakers, was there a defining moment where you said, I'm just not going to talk about giving back. I'm actually going to build something. I'm going to do it? Because I'm sure there was some build up to this, right?
Yeah, I mean, my earliest memories, I'm doing stuff. I'm doing Habitat for Humanity. I'm at the Fellowship of Christian Athletes doing things. I'm at Bible study where we're helping adopt families over the holidays, or doing Thanksgiving turkey giveaways. So my earliest memories involve some form of serving. In college, I just up on my own decided to tutor elementary school kids at local elementary schools on the other side of in East Palo Alto, a less affluent area. Yep. And would go there twice a week on top of double majoring and on top of playing football to go volunteer and read to kids. And, that was really rewarding. I was in that time, I started realizing I was gravitating towards those individuals in those classrooms who had learning disabilities and, differences in their trajectories of growth. And so I started gravitating more towards individuals with differences. When I got to the NFL, I was still kind of working in at-risk youth and closing the achievement gap. And I realized a lot of my teammates who looked the part, who looked more similar to these students who grew up with more similar backgrounds, were attacking that fight already. And the best thing I could do is really just be an ally. And then I said, well, hey, if I already have a lot of teammates attacking this passion of mine, what's this other one? And it was, I thought back and reflected, and my early, memories of middle school and high school was hanging out and helping and creating friendships with individuals with differences. And I thought it was an overlooked population. And as I would talk to some people and, like my friend who's autistic does this, or my friend with Down syndrome, and they would have like no idea what a person with Down syndrome. Oh, wait, you said that to a person with Down syndrome? Or you brought one of your friends who was autistic, was at your wedding? Like, wait, how does that? And I realized their ignorance to it. I was like, well, I need to start highlighting how freaking amazing these individuals are.
And that you do well. I mean, we talk a lot about the heart of the volunteer. I mean, for you, it starts way back. It sounds like a middle school. It's that desire. You might not have been able to define it, don't know where it's coming from, but that desire that I'm good at this. I can make this person good at this, right? Kind of leads into football. It's what I teach my players on the baseball team. Like, any one of you can be great, but none of you can be great unless the rest of you are good. Right. So we've got to build each other up. If you're better at throwing and catching someone, then take them off to the side and make them as good as you, because that's how we're going to win. Right. That's how we're going to bond as a team. It's that same drive. So This is a podcast about volunteering. So I want to spend a lot of time talking about that. We just kind of built that up to show where that comes from in you. It's that big heart, right? So you're running multiple camps in multiple cities. Obviously, you can't be multiple places at once. So you said it already. It counts on hundreds of volunteers. So a lot of what you're doing, especially at camps powered by volunteers, I've seen it firsthand. Without the volunteers, mentioned before, you look for certain qualities. You look for certain things in volunteers. What have you seen out of the best volunteers? What have you seen that stands out?
Yeah. Okay. That's great, man. It's funny because all I'm doing is picturing volunteers. Like I'm literally like, oh my gosh, this girl kicks ass. What does she do? And I have them at every city, and they all kind of have their own secret sauce. But one thing that's like a non-negotiable for being the best, like if I gave awards away to the best volunteer at my camp, one is like can put out fires on their own. And so someone who there's an issue, you're going to have a participant in my camps with kids with special needs. You have a wide receiver station where we're throwing footballs, and you turn and you have a student who's visually impaired and is blind. How is that person going to catch this throwing football? And instead of, hey, I need to find Harrison or find someone else, I'm quick enough on my feet. And how can this person get some fun out of this? Hey, I'm going to clap my hands. And when I clap my hands, put your arms out, and we're going to underhand toss it till you feel it. You just creatively find ways. So people who can put out fires, I think energy is just non-negotiable. You have to be warm, friendly, or energetic. And that just, you just feel that. Hey, we're rotating to group 3. And if someone's just holding a sign that says group 3 standing there, that's drastically different than, hey, group 2, get over here. We're coming to station 3 now. Where are you guys at? Come on, no, don't be the last one over. Just like that constant energy it just brings the whole camp vibe up. And then I look for someone who's also like, I would say ambitious, which is a weird word to describe someone who's volunteering, but just from conversations with someone, or hey, what are you comfortable doing? What do you want to do? A lot of the best volunteers I have, they're not like checking the boxes. Hey, I did my community service this week. It's like, I have something missing. I'm super, and I want to do more. Not only do I want to help, I want to lead your group, and I want to be the best lead in your group. And I want you to help put me on your volunteer board. And then what's the next event? I'm so ambitious of how far I can take this volunteerism. I even want to go do my own thing, and I'm learning from you so I can go create my own stuff. And so I think those are a few of the characteristics I look for and who are successful volunteers.
And it's funny because you describe the same type of person we're looking for here in the fire department. I want somebody who's driven, somebody who's literally can go put a fire out, not in, in the literal sense, but
yeah, I didn't even think of the double meaning there. Yeah.
A lot can go wrong in our scenes. There's no playbook for what we go into, right? We have never seen this offense before. This is a brand new offense that nobody's ever seen. And we got to devise the playbook on the spot. And I'm looking for people who are driven enough to see the problem and attack the problem. And it's just everything that you described about these people. It's not something, they're not checking boxes. I'm not figuring out how many hours I got to hit this week. It's that call. It's just, you said it earlier in the interview. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm doing enough, right? Yeah. Like, and it's crazy to me, right? Talking to you, people say that, I'm sure, about me too, with the amount of hours I got wrapped up in running the youth sports programs and running the training program here, right? And I go to bed at night, Harry, going, I missed that opportunity today.
Yeah. No, it's like a negative, I'm like empty half the time. I'm like, I'm not doing enough and I should be doing more. And what the heck? And it can be lonely. It can be like, it's a certain, I don't even know. There's a certain atonement or tax you pay with the complexity of the mind and the passion that you have. It's, it hurts, but that's why when you are volunteering, that's when the glass is full. Yeah. And that's like the feeling you're going to chase.
It's the first leadership quality. A good coach never feels like a good coach. Good quarterback never feels like a good quarterback, right? A good leader never feels like a good leader because we always feel like we left some on the plate. But let's stick with that volunteering vein. If tomorrow all these volunteers decided we're done, what changes for you?
Dude, I can't do what I want to do without volunteers. There's no chance. Again, physically, I can't be at all these places. I told you we just did 16 events in Buffalo. I was only physically present for 2. I couldn't, I could zoom in, I could do other stuff, but I need people checking in. I need people sending emails. I need people communicating back and forth with parents. I need people in the parking lot, figuring out where people are parking. I need people setting up my stations prior. I need people driving the food back and forth. I need volunteers helping serve the food. What about before the events when we're packing goodie bags? How about t-shirt sizes? What about my name tag station? I cannot do it. And so, if there wasn't such thing as a volunteer, I would be significantly poorer because I would have to pay a ton of staff and I wouldn't be able to run any of the camps the way I do. I'd probably have 3 or 4 working staff who I'd have to pay. I'd have to pay to come out to the cities I'm in and try to put it together themselves with 3 or 4 people, which would take days and days and days of work versus 4 or 5 hours of 50 to 100 people.
And the burnout that goes along with it. Yep. You'll get incredibly burned. And again, I think volunteerism is often the oldest form of Americanism there is. And it goes back to that team bond, right? So when the Pilgrims landed, they had no choice. Somebody's house burned down. What happened? What did they have to do? Somebody broke their leg in the middle of the woods. What did they have to do? You didn't just say leave him there. We volunteered to help him out and get him to help. And so to me, when you look back at America, it's the oldest form of American value that we have is volunteerism. I'm feeling that in your heart. And it goes back to part of it's teamwork, right? You just described it. Without all these people doing parking and tickets and stickers, right? It's just like football. Without a team, you can't succeed. You can't be a good defensive tackle without good defensive ends, without good linebackers that change the gaps and change the coverage, right? So do you see a dynamic in the community work that you're doing? Have you seen a change in, say, the last 10 years in Harrison's Playmakers, in the sense of community that maybe when you started first today?
Yeah, I have. I feel like we're losing the middle class. And I don't mean that like,
I get you.
That's the way I would call it.
Yep.
I now have like studs and people who don't really want to be here.
Right.
And I feel like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, let me change this too. I'm more thinking about my youth volunteers.
Right.
Okay. So with my youth volunteers, let's say college and under.
Yep.
I have these studs who are like, I want to do this, and I'm not here for, whatever. And they're amazing. You're like, wait, you're 16 years old and you're leading a group of 15 people and you help do this, and you're just on your own cleaning up the field afterwards. Like, holy crap. Can I sign a letter of recommendation for you or something? You're amazing. And then the other side is like, we might actually be worse off that you're here right now. You're a distraction. You're not helping. You're making, your people are at injury risk because of your lack of attention and stuff.
Right.
Where I feel like 10 years ago, it's like, hey, everyone was kind of the same. There wasn't a ton of excellers who were like really loved it. Right. And there weren't people who were like really against it. And so in my site with the youth, we're seeing a big separation and less of just the middle of the road. Hey, I'm going to be here. I'm going to do a good job while I'm here. And then I'm going to forget all about it. There's like that person doesn't exist anymore. You're like there because I love this and I want the next thing, or someone's making me to be here and I really don't want to.
Right.
I don't know if that's really the answer to your question, but in my youth population, that's what I've seen the most of. And then because over the last 10 years, the ones I'm seeing so much more repeated people. We've had to turn away volunteers because we're like, well, we don't even have a task for you. We have so many people who want to do this.
Yep.
And that means that they see and maybe they're volunteering for the first time because they're a friend of mine, or they get to go meet an NFL player or whatever it is. But when they're there, they realize like, oh my gosh, screw meeting the NFL player. This is the best day of the year for me because my cup's overflowing and this kid was funny and that girl was this. And so I'm seeing a lot of repeat customers.
Well, I'm going to tell you from firsthand experience, going to your camp the first time, I don't know if it was 2021, 2022, whatever. Going to camp the first time, I was going out by myself, totally outside my comfort zone, didn't know what I was getting into, sat in the parking lot for 10 minutes going, do I really want to go in there? And, I tell people all the time, Harry, I wasn't there 10 minutes and I felt like I was part of the family already. So that leads me into, what do you think the magic sauce is for you to keep these volunteers so engaged? Because I think we just determined it's not so much meeting you and whatever football star is going to be there. Right. Just like for here, I would equate that to the fire department as people who come down for dinners. Right? They come down for the food, but then when we actually need them to put the work in, but you don't seem to have that. When people show up to camp, and I can attest to this, they are engaged on a level that I've never seen. So what is the magic sauce? Like, what are you doing?
I just think you see how genuine maybe my desire to do it is. And then like that core, my board and like core volunteers like yourself. And you see how how much they throw themselves into it. You see the smiling faces of kids. Like there's a tangible flow there. And so you're like, hey, I'm not just, even if I don't know, it's hard to make an example because I have people who are in a back room who aren't facing any of the camp members and they're just stuffing t-shirts or making, put pizza on plates, and they're still doing it as best as they can, even without the tangible reward. But they're part of the team. And when I get in front of all the volunteers and I let them know before camp starts, this is what I'm looking for. The only way this day works is because of you. You're super valued. I know that now and in 4 hours, I'm probably not going to be able to talk to you one time because we're going to be grinding. But afterwards, like, you're going to see me dripping in sweat and all these kids leaving here with the best day of their year because of your influence in that. And so the suffering, because like some volunteering stuff's fun, but some of it's like hard work or it's not fun. The suffering is like the secret part. If you put meaning towards that volunteerism, you put meaning towards the suffering, it becomes so much more rewarding.
Make people feel valuable, more or less.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. All right. I got about roughly 10 more minutes with you, buddy. So I do want to cover a few more things.
Yep.
Time has become the conversation that comes up in my conversations with people more than anything, because time is more valuable than it's ever been. It seems to be going faster than it's ever been. So there's going to be people listening to this that are on the fence, that they want to give more, they want to do more, whether it's a fire department, it's a foundation, it's coaching a sports team, whatever. They want to do more, but they just don't know where they fit. So what advice would you give to somebody who has this in their heart? They go to bed every night going, I wish I could just go, God, give more of myself to something bigger than myself. What would your advice be to them right now to get them to cross over that fence?
So, I mean, I think everyone's motivation's got to be drastically different. For me, I really like, what do I value? All right, let's just pretend you make $1 million a year, crazy good, whatever. You have an hourly rate. So I don't know what the rough math is. Let's say that's a $500, $800 an hour you make. So to you, doing something should bring you like $500 worth of value. Well, I would pay a lot of money to have quality time with people I care about. And so for me, if I was trying to get over that hump, I'll go golfing with my friends, not because I'm in love with golf, but because I get 3 to 4 hours with my best friends and I get to have that memory, those moments in that relationship. So in the same way, why can't I get my best friend to go volunteer this fire station with me? And now I'm volunteering and I'm working with one of my best friends. And some of the best volunteers we have, like a group leader, you're never by yourself. It's you and a person doing your group lead. And so it's that husband and that wife, that father and that son, that mother and that sister, that brother, that sister, two best friends. By all my strength exercise groups and the stuff, it's always like best friends. There's 4 or 5 workout buddies that are all friends, and they'll be like, we're doing the workout station together. And there's passing periods, there's 5-minute breaks. You're doing something with someone you love, and that's what would get me over the hump. So I would go to my 6, 7 friends when we all go out to hang or we get together, watch something. And I'd be like, hey, any of you guys want to do, are you feeling a little empty? Any of you guys feel this feeling I'm having? Great. Would one of you guys be interested in signing up for me with this? Like, will you guys come down to the homeless shelter and give out? Will you guys come to the Humane Society with me? Will you guys sign up to go be volunteer? Like, let's go see what this volunteer firefighter thing's about. Like, sounds kind of fun. We can go like put out some fires together and then talk, like hanging out with my buddy, and I'm doing something good for the world. So again, me personally, it's all about people. And you could put me, I mean, I'm trying to think what I hate doing. I hate coloring. Okay. Coloring books. I hate coloring. I could sit there and paint and color for hours. If that was best friend number 2, that was wifey, and that was my son.
Absolutely.
Hours.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that's what people, you kind of hinted on this before. When you volunteering, whether it's a fire department or an organization, you're joining a family. And if you give a little bit of yourself, a little bit of devotion and commitment to that family, you become part of that family. You even said it when I said, how many volunteers do you have? And what was your answer? You started, I'm thinking of all their faces right now. And I know from, again, I see you behind the curtain, maybe more than a lot of our listeners will, but that's the investment that you give everyone that's in this organization. I can't count, I can't count on my hands how many times you've stepped up for me when I've had something going on, right? Like, hey, Carrie, can you check this out real quick? Man, it might take a day because dude's busy NFL star, but you always follow up. So I don't want to waste our time. If someone in a small town is about thinking about stepping up, what's the number one thing? This might be tricky. I want you to think about this. What's the number one thing most people underestimate about the impact that they can have by volunteering somewhere?
That's tough because I don't even know where to go. Do I go the impact on myself? Because gosh dang, it is you become a whole different version of yourself. But the impact you have on others is like the butterfly effect. I mean, it just keeps moving. So I think Dude, that's a loaded question. It's a great question. The biggest impact that is unexpected.
I think that's
I
just it. It's
yeah
unexpected. Yeah.
yeah. I think that everyone is trying to find, like, what is the meaning of life? What is purpose? And we're all kind of pursuing, is it my job? Is it my family? Is it this? When do I feel fulfilled?
Right.
If you're at an event of mine, or if you're doing volunteering with you, I don't think any of those thoughts are actively in your mind when you're doing those things. When I'm at a camp, I'm not feeling unfulfilled. I'm not feeling like, what's my purpose in life? I'm acting it out right now. And the reason that I'm being what's reinforcing me is the fact that none of those thoughts are going on of, I'm not doing enough. What else because I'm doing it. And so I think, even though it could be chaos, and there's people crying over here, it's super hot over here, you guys are putting out an actual fire, there might be chaos, but like, my soul's never been more calm. My soul is at rest when I'm doing all these things.
Exactly.
And then from the impact on others,
there's no limit.
No, I have 300 people at a camp, right? I'm not spending drastic quality time with 300 individuals and playmakers. Yet every single one of them is leaving. So-and-so did that. My group, they all are telling me these incredible stories about my volunteers. And the volunteer might not know at all. Like, I finally caught my first pass. And the volunteer is just, playing catch. You don't realize that that's the first pass that playmaker has ever caught before. Yeah. Or when somebody walks by and you say, "Oh my gosh, I love your pigtails." And she got made fun of all fucking week at school because she was wearing pigtails. And you were the one that said nice pigtails and just made her whole day. And I know these are, small little things, but
no, you said it so beautifully. So my buddy Seth Voorhees is here today doing a report on us. And I told him, he asked me, what I'm trying to do with this podcast, what I'm trying to accomplish. And I go, honestly, I'm trying to bottle up what you just described. I'm trying to find a way to bottle that up so you can drink it. So I can just make you feel a fraction of what it feels like and the impact that we have on others. I'm in a very thankless position. Very few people thank us for what we do. But you know what? I leave in the scene and I'm backing in the bay with one of these trucks, and I know I did good in this world. And it's like, that's all that's necessary, right? And I just want people to feel a little bit of that. So I got two more questions for you, okay?
Yep.
One's going to pertain to the fire service, but the other one is one that might make you think again, okay? I'm going to make you think before I ask you about the fire department. Okay. And this may be a question you've been asked before. I don't know. When all is said and done, hopefully your football career goes for several more years. But when all this is said and done, you're looking back, you're done with Playmakers. You're at that age where you're officially retired. You're off on an island somewhere, Harrison. What do you want people to remember about the impact you made off the field? We know what you've done on the field. What do you want people to remember about the off the field? Harry, as we call him, not Harry.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You said when Playmakers is done. I don't know if that'll ever happen. I talk with Jim all the time, and I'm like, I think Jim's going into year like 36, 37 of his camp or something like that. And I keep telling him, like, I want that. I want to be going into my 35th Harrison's Playmaker event year. Like, I think we're in year 9 now, or we're going to be
Will I still be alive? I'll be in my 70s, but I'll still be there.
Yeah. Okay. So, hopefully that is still part of it and more impact, and, how many, people we worked with. I think we did something for Special Olympics or during the Super Bowl, and my dad tracked since 2020, we've worked with 12,000 people. And so how incredible would that be if that became like a 6-digit number or something? I mean,
yeah.
But to answer your question, I don't talk about it enough, and I feel like the way society's going, this wouldn't be someone's first response, because I feel like Christianity's kind of dying. But at the end of the day, if someone brought up my name and the first thing someone said about me is like, that man followed Jesus, or that man was a great Christian, or that man had a lot of faith, that's what this whole thing's about.
Okay, absolutely.
That's what the whole thing's about. Again, I don't know, like, I wear a cross. I talk about my faith publicly. I'm always praying. I do a lot of those things. I don't know if that's the first thing that they would say. But I think, he cared. he was genuine, and somebody I looked up to. Like I do want to be someone's role model. I want you to be able to tell your son, look at how Harrison handled this, or man, he got injured and this is how he dealt with it. And
my kids idolize you.
Yeah, and that's what I'd like. In a non-egotistical way, it's like,
Yep.
I want to live my life like someone is always watching or looking up to me. And I now have a son, and it's like he's gonna be a mini me, and dang near he better be better than me, and I better be, live in a way that will make my son proud, make all these other families who know me proud, and can be that staple in the community. I hope my best friends can say, hey, to their kids, like, hey, do it. Like, how would Harrison be doing right? You think Harrison's doing his reading homework tonight? No, he did not. And that's how he was able to go to Stanford. And so like, I hope that I can help families to create change, and then give other people that they can see how God's blessed me through giving, that will encourage them to give so that God can bless them also.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't give enough to faith as much as I should these days, because it is that forgotten thing. But I tell you, I've always often said, like, I feel like if anything, God put me here to do this. And on my gravestone, I've told everybody, I just wanted to say, this man did everything he could for everyone around him. And even though he didn't live his life as faithful as he should, I believe my conversation with Jesus is going to come down to, what did I do for those around me? What did you do for yourself? What did you do for all those around you, including your community and your family and your friends? Were you there for them? Did you drop everything? Did you put yourself in places and causes that are bigger than yourself? And I truly feel that I'm going to be judged for that someday. And I think that calling is what makes me do it as well. And it sounds like what you described, Harrison. I love this. Conversation's awesome. I appreciate it so much. So you do have a support for the fire service. I get a little flavor of that every year when I pick a competition I can whoop your ass in. Because it's sure not football.
That's true. I can't even say it.
Tell me a little bit about how you feel about, and I don't want to put the career firefighters off to the side, because they're on the same team.
Yeah.
But when you hear the word volunteer firefighter, what does that mean to you? How do these people make you feel, Harry? I mean, I guess best way I could put it.
Dude, there are heroes. Like that's it. That's the end of the sentence. Firefighters, volunteer fire, you are heroes. Frontline workers that save lives and are doing the most impactful work in this world. You guys, along with our military, along with our doctors, our nurses, it's insane. And obviously, even aside from the military, like, there's a little more risk involved with being a firefighter than a teacher. And I really respect them as frontliners as well, fighting great fights. But firefighters, police, and military are in a class of their own and are our heroes. And there's a reason that the NFL tries to honor them. There's reasons that I bring them out at my events and try to make everybody applaud them and be resources to our youth. In the last handful of years, there's been negative connotations towards those groups of people sometimes, and it's been very, very frustrating, because every person I've met, and there can be outliers in anything, but every person I've met has a sense of calling, purpose, and it's like they embody the true, like, American way. They're just like as all American as you can get. And I considered, obviously, if football didn't work out, or if my life went a different way.
My assistant chief got in at 50, bro, so it's not going to be too late.
Are you allowed to have like 50 surgeries and still come in? Because if so, I'll be there.
We'll talk.
Yeah, I have to make an exception with all my impairments.
You can still drive the rig, buddy.
Yeah. We'll find ways for me. Or I can pack your guys' lunches or something.
Well, hey, I didn't ask you about football once. I did this intentionally, but maybe you could give me a little something. Maybe the NFL Network will want to run with how the Jets look at, besides the 2 games you're going to lose up here, one in Western New York and one in Jersey. How's the Jets looking this year?
I gotta go.
Yeah. How's the team looking this year, buddy? Is it looking pretty good?
We've made a really good push here this last offseason to get some veterans on the team. I know. I think that makes a team feel a lot more comfortable going into a draft if you feel like you have some cornerstone veterans on your roster. We made a big step defensively, where last year, I know we've talked, I was the oldest player on the Jets defense and one of the oldest players on the entire team. And I don't feel that old. I think it was just a testament to how young this team was.
Right.
And so we've got some more veteran leaderships. We've got some guys who are, played a decade in this league. And it's just a lot easier to move the needle when you have guys that successful in this business doing it that long. Players have to gravitate towards them. So if we get enough guys over here, this middle crowd that could go this way or this way, they're going to come over here too.
Sure.
And so it was cool to see our organization take that step forward. I had a conversation with our owner today, who said he is willing to do anything. If a player needs something in this facility that he needs, he will get that resource for that player. Just be transparent. I haven't had every owner in the NFL is doing that right now, saying, what do you need? I'll buy it for you right now so we can make every resource available for you to win. And so to have an owner and a GM and a head coach that want to win, you'd think that should be I don't know if that happens everywhere in the league. And so we're making the steps in the right direction. We'll see how these draft picks come in. And you have, like, again, you're so much less nervous about who to draft when you have a good core of guys, and we're finding our good core of guys so we can bring anybody in, mold them to the new identity of what the Jets are going to be. And it will be so rewarding if on my last, I'm probably going to play for another 12 years, but
yeah, I hope you do, buddy. I hope you do.
On
tough position to play 12 more.
I think I have less football in front of me than I do behind me, and it would be fun in these next few years and things if I could be part of the change to get us out of the drought that we've been in. And I know what that did for Buffalo when I was there, and see what that did to the fan base and rejuvenate that entire city.
Absolutely.
What will it be like when the Jets are in the playoffs again, winning football games? What would that do for our entire fan base? What would that do for the NFL, the excitement of football? It would be really cool if I could be a part of the group that did that.
Hell yeah, brother. Well, we're always rooting for you, except for those 2 games. We'll be seeing you up here. Now, I'd like to follow up with you when you're up here for camp in June. I will do a little live on scenes, maybe get to talk to you again. I'll definitely talk to you before the season starts. You're not going to hear me saying Jets, Jets. I just did it.
Yeah, you said this thing's recording.
Go Buffalo. I'll give you a fist pump. All right. Thanks, Harry. I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you for your time today.
God bless.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks, buddy.